Hello guys, today I am playing Bloxburg. So you may have seen my video recently of me playing Bloxburg with my sister. We built gingerbread houses. If you haven't, that's fine. But today I'm going to be making Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. So I have a ginormous empty plot here. And I want to make Hogwarts because I've just gotten a little bored of building houses recently in Bloxburg. Like there's really only so many times you can build a house before you get bored of it. So I wanted something a little bit more challenging, a little bit more creative. Now, that being said, this is not my original idea. I've seen tons of people build Hogwarts in Bloxburg before, and there is people who have done role plays playing in the Hogwarts that they built in Bloxburg. These people are so talented, and I'm not going to be using any tutorials or anything that other people have made. This is going to be entirely my original build. I'm going to be using the books and the movies, any Harry Potter games, so Hogwarts Legacy, Hogwarts Mystery. I'm going to be using those as reference instead of other people's original creations. Hogwarts is huge. This is going to be a huge project. I'm not going to finish this in one video. It's going to take months, possibly years to finish. For reference, I started filming this video in August, and I currently only have 400,000 bucks. And a castle this big is gonna need at least 2 or 3 million. So this is gonna be huge. It's gonna be detailed. It's not gonna be finished in one video. So we're gonna take it part by part. Today I'm gonna focus on planning out the grounds because currently we just have a block of emptiness. And then I'm going to be decorating the Great Hall / entrance area. Yeah, I'm going to need to plan the grounds because this is going to have everything. We're going to have Hagrid's Hut, the Quidditch pitch, greenhouses, Forbidden Forest, Whomping Willow. We're going to have all of it. So it's important that I plan this stuff out. So I'm going to try and get the planning done with quickly. And then we'll get into like speed building the Great Hall. Okay, I've yapped long enough about this. Let's just start already. Starting, I do have the large plot game pass because I feel like this would be impossible otherwise, because how do you make a ginormous castle without the biggest plot possible? So that's that. And then for my fence choice, I went with the brick fence because I feel like it's the most castle, sort of like medieval old vibes. And I mean, I feel like I don't really have to defend myself on this. Can you imagine like Hogwarts with a white plastic fence around it? No. We had to do the brick fence. And then I got matching gate, and then I am aware that there is gargoyles at the front. I didn't add them at the time because I would have to hand make them because at the time I recorded this, there wasn't the gargoyle item in the game yet, so that's why I didn't include gargoyles. And then I just used plain markings to like map out where the lake and the Quidditch pitch and stuff is gonna go. I didn't label anything, but it all makes sense in my head at least. So that's all that matters. And then there is stairs, and then what I'm working on right now is what's gonna turn into the like mountain hill that Hogwarts sits on. So to make a hill like this, the way I'm doing it at least, is you need the basement game pass, put a roof on the basement, use a Mansford roof because it has like the flat top, and then you make it as tall as it can go, and then you can like adjust the edges and stuff to make it look however you want it to look. And then you add flooring on the second layer to go on top, and that's how you're able to like put items on top of it. And then I just fixed up where the stairs are going real quick. Gotten all the basic like platform and stuff done. So now it's time to start working on the bridge. Now there's 2 bridges in Hogwarts. The first one is the stone bridge, and it's got like columns and arches, and it looks all nice and pretty, whatever. That's what I'm going to be doing. But there's also this wooden bridge. You see Harry and Lupin in it and Prisoner, and then it falls apart at the end of Battle Hogwarts, I think. But I'm going to be doing the stone one because it's like at the front of the castle. It looks really nice. So the thing about this bridge is the arches, like, I'm very particular, so I do end up like basically custom making this entire thing with columns and simple shapes and like the concave, straight, whatever things. I use those a lot, and structural parts. So yeah, and I did not like any of the fences, so we're making the like railing fence out of really short columns and concave things. So I just quick did that because I don't think you want to watch me do this a million times. And I colored them and stuff. Yeah, I don't think you want to watch me do that a million times. So yeah. If you've made it this far in the video, I would just like to say thank you. I know this video is a little bit weird and chaotic. I don't think I really elaborated on this, but this video is coming out in the summer of 2025, and I started it in the summer of 2024. So excuse it if it's sort of outdated, if it feels really choppy. I'm working on it. I just did not want to abandon this, and I wanted it to be my best work. So if it seems like it's taken a while to come out, like, I'm really trying, okay? And I know it's not gonna be the best. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. I really do. Anyway, I may or may not have gotten a little carried away off camera. I did finish the like bridge portion, but I also just added a whole bunch of rocks around, and I did like some coloring, some texturing. It really wasn't that interesting. It was a lot of trial and error. And then I just put rocks around in a pool, so you really didn't miss that much. I know it looks like I did a whole bunch off camera, but I really didn't. I promise. It's not that much. It's just like little decorating things. Like, I don't feel like you needed to see me place 20 rocks. Like, so now we're gonna build the Great Hall, so let's get into that. Okay, so you can kind of see like this giant like clearing I sort of already have. So I'm just gonna map out sort of how big I want the Great Hall to be. I want it to be, so there's gonna be like an entrance hall, and then on one side of the entrance hall is gonna be the Great Hall, and then on the other side is gonna be a courtyard. So that's sort of like the rectangles I have mapped out right now. I know it looks a little chaotic, but it'll make sense when I put the walls up. So you can see this is outlining the entrance hall. And then I'm not going to be doing the courtyard in this video. I'm just going to be doing the Great Hall and like part of the entrance hall. The entrance hall isn't very decorated, but had to extend the cliffs a little bit. Sort of, I really wanted the entrance hall to be like a highlight of the castle, so I did have to make it pretty large. And then making it 2 stories. So we are currently 3 stories up at this point. And then I wanted to like add texture to the walls and such because, you know, right now it's just like flat wall. So I added some pillars, and I did this to both sides, and I made them go all the way up, so I just stacked them. And then windows, I did mess with the windows a lot, like putting beams in them. Like, I tried a whole bunch of stuff. So if the windows just like change a little bit, that's why. And then I did windows on both floors, and also the same exact thing went on the other wall. And then working on the inside, I know there's like fireplaces inside, but I must have just made the windows too big or something because I didn't really have room for them. I know there's like 3 fireplaces or something. And then as far as the roof goes, if you're unfamiliar with Hogwarts, the ceiling in the Great Hall is sort of supposed to reflect the night sky or like the day sky. Whatever the sky looks like outside, that's what the ceiling of the Great Hall looks like. So there was a couple different ways I thought about doing this. I could either do like just make it glass or clear for the ceiling, but then you would also be able to see into the Great Hall, which I didn't want. So I thought that the best way to go about doing this was to just put mirrors on the ceiling, because I believe mirrors, they're like blue, but then they're like black during the night. So I thought this would be like the best way to do it and stuff. And I wanted like a hollowed out ceiling. I guess I was not really liking any of the in-game roofs, so I decided to just custom build my own using like simple panels. I mean, using simple shapes or whatever. And then this is going to be like the platform that the teacher's table is on. This is the best table I had. I don't like the little edges of it. Those are sort of bothering me, but it works. I had to get like a giant window behind them. And then obviously I have to do the floating candles, so that's what I'm doing right here. And okay, so I did a little things. I just did mainly texturing and stuff and finished up the roof. But we're back now, and we're gonna add in the tables. So I wanted a table that I could like show the different colors of the house while still having like the brown table. So I really liked this table because it had like the little rim around the outside that I could change to be like red, yellow, green, or blue to like match the house. So that's what I did for that. And then I just had to make like 4 rows of the tables, and then I did like benches that like matched the same way. And then I think some things have shown like different orders for the tables, but I decided to go Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor. You know, I feel like different things, different sources say different things, so we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so now I'm working on the like teacher's head table. And as for the chairs, I am gonna change the chairs that I use for this. There was like some better chairs that came out like shortly after I recorded this, so I do end up changing the chairs that I use. And as for like the throne that Dumbledore sits on, this was the best I could come up with. It's like a children's like play toy throne or whatever. And as for Hagrid's seat, I sort of just made it like an extra big chair. I tried my best. I am gonna change it, I think, and sort of mess with it as new chairs and tables come out. I'm probably gonna change it, but that's what it is for now. I just made it out of like simple shapes, so it looks pretty bad. But we can just ignore that. It's gonna change. And then you can see this kind of weird pentagon shape next to the Great Hall is where the grand staircase is gonna go. I have no clue how I'm gonna build that, so if you guys have any ideas, please leave them in the comments because I don't know how to build a moving staircase in Bloxburg, or if that's even possible. And then finally, we're doing the like gate entrance to the Great Hall. I decided to use like a garage door instead of like a real door because I needed something like large. So we're doing like this door that like opens like big. I thought it was like the closest I could get to like the actual doors like in the movies or something. And now we're gonna do a like walkthrough tour of the castle so far. So this is like the entrance with like some nature and stuff, and then up the stairs and across this bridge we come into the entrance hall, which is like not really done, and then the grand staircase is over there. And then this is the Great Hall. It has the ceiling is still not finished, and then there is a little glitch in the door, so that's not always like that. And we have all the tables. I'm obviously a Ravenclaw, and I'm wearing my Ravenclaw outfit. And so yeah, that is the end of the video. If you guys have like anything you want me to change or anything you want me to add, what part of the castle you want me to do next, just let me know. Part 2 is hopefully not going to take a year to come out. So yeah, just let me know if you have any ideas, and I will see you next time. Bye!